Shimano 105 Di2 is a brilliant group set, but there are still some things that we really hate about it. Here are 5 things that we're really not that keen on. The first issue that we have with 105 Di2 is the same issue that we share with all of the latest 12-speed Di2 systems. We don't think that you can call the product wireless if there are still wires running between the battery and the derailleurs. This annoys us on a number of levels. Firstly, you're not actually removing that many cables, and the ones that you are removing are arguably the easiest to route. The main cable that has gone is from the shifter down to what used to be the junction B box, but this was threaded down through the head tube and came out at the bottom bracket, which made it one of the easiest cables on the bike to route. Now, we're all for making things simpler, but seeing as you're still going to need to route the hose for the rear brake through the frame, the omission of one small Di2 cable isn't actually that helpful. For really fast group set installs, SRAM still wins. And then we have the fact that most of the group sets will be bought on full bikes, making the wireless feature simply a selling point. With sales of disc brake road bikes absolutely dominating the market these days, it's no surprise to see that the humble rim brake group set being phased out. But with the phasing out of what was one of the most affordable racers group sets, we are concerned that there will be a gap in the market where a section of riders will be left without a product for them. There is a popular saying amongst local road racers which goes something like, race what you can replace. And for the majority of junior racers and people that just want to give the sport a go at the weekend, Shimano 105 was always representing a great balance of performance and not crying in the car on the way home because you've just cost yourself hundreds and hundreds of pounds due to a crash in the sprint finish. There is another aspect to consider as well, which is that rim brakes are actually, well, really good. Okay, so we all know the benefits of disc brakes. They offer more power than a rim brake and give better modulation too. They also continue to provide that power in wet weather, and when set up correctly, there is really no maintenance required. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a good ride while using rim brakes. There were plenty of us, me included, that came up using rim brakes, and we still had an absolute blast on our bikes. So you definitely don't need disc brakes to enjoy cycling. It was a real shame to see Ultegra and Dura lose their rim brake models, but for the humble 105 rim brake to bite the dust is extra sad. In a similar vein to our point on rim brakes, mechanical shifting has always offered the best balance between price and performance especially when it comes to your group set. Well, this is the cheapest ever Di2 group set, but we still don't think it offers better bang for your buck than 105 Mechanical did. A well-tuned 105 Mechanical group set offered fast, accurate and dependable shifting with really nice hood ergonomics and pretty easy setup too. Maintaining mechanical 105 front and rear derailleurs was a rather simple task, and if you were ever stuck, there was always a helpful YouTube video to guide you through the process of setting limits, indexing and optimizing cable run. There are also plenty of practical advantages to using mechanical shifting, with the first of those being that it's never going to run out of battery when you're miles from home. This is something that happened to me on several occasions, and while you'd think I'd learn, well, it seems that I can still make this mistake. Okay, so a mechanical group set can go wrong, but you can generally bodge it into a suitable gear to get you home. When the battery on an electronic group set goes flat, there's absolutely nothing you can do but crawl your way home in the gear that you're stuck in, or try and find the local bike shop and hope that they're open. We've already touched on the fact that Shimano 105 Di2 has long been seen as the entry-level racers group set. This was because you could get the full group set for well under £1,000, which made building up a brilliant bike relatively inexpensive. And that allowed the largest number of people to give cycling a go on a brilliant bike. These days, entry-level electronic shifting bikes start in the region of £3,000, which for a huge amount of people is just silly money. But if we take a look at the actual figures when compared to SRAM Rival eTap, the picture gets even worse. Rival eTap as a group set costs around £1,300, whereas the new Shimano 105 Di2 group set will cost you over $1,700. But thankfully, Shimano does claw back some ground here, as it looks as though prices for 105 Di2 bikes will be closer, if not cheaper, than rival eTap bikes. Given that this is how most people will be buying the group set, it is likely to be the most important factor. But what do you think? Would you go for the 105 Di2 bike or rival eTap? Let me know in the comments below. In our eyes, one of the stranger decisions that Shimano has made with its new 12-speed Di2 systems was to pack all of the brains into, well, the most exposed part of the whole group set. Essentially, Shimano has made the rear derailleur the control center for the new group set, packing the shift signal receiver, Bluetooth communicator, and a few other bits into the derailleur body. This then connects via a wire to the battery and runs to the front derailleur. But derailleurs have always been an exposed part of the bicycle, and they are generally the first to take a hit in a crash. So what's the problem? With all of the brains of the system being packed into the rear derailleur, it has become the most expensive component within the group set. That means that if you slide out in a corner, come down in a sprint finish, or simply get ridden into by another rider, you could have a very expensive repair bill. We do wonder why the clever bits weren't simply bolted onto the battery, which are these days hidden away inside the frame or seat post. Anyway, if you wreck a rear derailleur, be prepared for it to be a very costly day on the bike. So, while we do love Shimano's 105 Di2 group set, it isn't all sunshine and roses. Is there anything that you don't like about this group set? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to check out Dave's review of the latest 12-speed stuff, you should definitely watch our video. Remember to like before you go, subscribe because 80% of you haven't done so yet, and we will see you in the next one.